Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we are going to talk about another very important example for template driven form, where we will see how to implement ngModelGroup with checkbox and select. Yes, in project there might be a requirement where you are supposed to implement the template driven form with ngModel with checkbox and select. So in that case, how we will create, what would be the difference in a normal field and checkbox and select. Okay, because in select we know that we define options and other things, so where to write ngModel, where to add the tags. So these all things we will be discussing in this particular session. But before we proceed further with this session, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow it sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you. Okay, and for the sequential content, you can refer the Sharmit digital course book, which is freely available in the description box. There you will find more than 3000 plus free resources, which is available in both Hindi as well as English language. So as per your convenience, you can refer it and implement it. Okay. Alright, so now I think we are good to start with the session. Here you can see, firstly I have noted down one main heading, that is Angular course by Sharmit, and after that we have second heading that shows template driven form in Angular ngModelGroup with checkbox and select. Okay, now how to add it? So to add it, what we will do, we will firstly add one horizontal row here, actually two horizontal row, which will help us to separate out these headings with the actual form. Okay, so this will help us to separate out the form. Now here we will create the form. Now to create the form, we are sure that we need ng form, right? So let's try to write it here. So my form equal ng form, and you can see currently it is throwing error. Why? Because it is not, it needs one module, right? And that is not imported. So first mandatory and prerequisite thing is that you should import the forms module. How you will import the forms module? Go to app.component.ts file. Here you can write forms module, and this is edit. Now we have this form with ng forms. Okay, now after this what we will do, we will define the further thing. But remember that always for creating the form, always make sure that forms module is added here, because if it is not added here, it won't work. Clear? Fine. Now after this what we will do, we will simply create one div with ngModelGroup. So let's add that div here. Here I will write ngModelGroup. Okay, then we will add, let's say we want to create a preferences selection option for the user, where user can select the options like dark theme or light theme, as we have in editors mobile, right? Mobiles or editors or laptops, we have some options where we have to select the drop down and we have to select either dark theme or light theme. Okay, so for that we will create that ngModelGroup with name preferences. Okay, preferences. Now after this what we will do, we will create the select, because we need a drop down, right? So let's add the select here. Now in this select what we will do, we will add the name of the select, let's say theme. Okay, and also we will add here ngModel. So never place this ngModel inside an option. Sometime in interviews also they will ask you where to write ngModel when you are implementing ngModelGroup with select. So always put it in a select, not in the option. Clear? So name is defined, ngModel is defined. Now we are good to go with further thing. So for that, because these are the two mandatory thing for ngModelGroup, right? So we have added it. Now you can simply define the options. So firstly I will define option 1, that is for value. So let's say I write it like this, dark. Okay, and here I will set the value as dark. Perfect. Similarly we will add the second option. So this is the second option, and in the second option I will write light. Okay, and here we will write value as light. Perfect. So these two things are added, like we have two options, one is for the dark theme and the second one is for the light theme, and we have added this under a ngModelGroup preferences. Now after this field, what we will do, after the select, we will add another thing, that is checkbox, because we want to see it in a combination, how to apply ngModelGroup with checkbox and select. Okay, so for that what we'll do, we will firstly add one label here for the field, and the field is notifications. Let's say notifications. Okay, so for that notification, let's add the input field, and in input field, like we will keep the type as checkbox. So this is the only difference, otherwise it is similar to the input field, right? But if you want to create it as a checkbox, then you can write here like this, input. Now name is mandatory, so just write name as notifications, and also the ngModel. Okay, so these things are ready. Now we are good to go and define the button, because we have created this div. Inside this div we have two correlated things. One is for preferences, that is theme, and another for our preferences is the checkbox for the notification. Okay, now it's time to create a button that will help us to submit this form. So maybe we can keep it inside the same div, or you can, I think it's better to go and create outside the div. Yes, it should be there only. Okay, so here I will write submit, and after submit, here also we will right click, submit form. Okay, opening closing parenthesis, then we will write here my form. Currently it is throwing error here because we haven't declared this method yet. So firstly we should define this method, and once it is added, then it will not throw any error, and it will show you the output properly. So let's go and define this method. So for that we will go to app.component.ts file. Here I will add the method name, that is submit form, opening closing parenthesis, form, and here I will write ng form. Okay, opening closing curly braces, then we will write here console.log, and then we will mention here form.value. Okay, perfect. So what this method will do, now you can see this error is removed. Why? Because now we have this method inside here, but always make sure that it should be in the same case. Let's say if I change it to small s, you will see the error is there, although we have written the submit, but still it is showing error because it is with a capital S. So this is completely case sensitive, so whenever you are writing, make sure to write it in a exact case. Okay, so basically what this method will do, the moment when user click on submit, it will show the values as an object because we are using group. Okay, so let's go right here, ng serve -- open, enter. Just wait for a few seconds, and then it will show you the output in the browser screen. So we have these things. Click on inspect because we will be checking the values on console also. Okay, now we can see we have the main heading, that is Angular course by Tech Sharmit. Then we have secondary heading, template driven form in Angular for ngModelGroup with checkbox and select. Okay, so you can see we have the select box. So from here, let's say I selected dark. If you want to check this notification on, just turn it on and submit. The moment when you submit it, you can see one object is created for the preferences, where we have object of preferences with two things. One is notification and the another one is theme. Okay, so this is exactly what we are trying to see. So you can see everything is as defined. We have notification as well. If you change it to, let's say, light and submit it, you will find the preferences where we have light and true. Okay, let's say if I set it as unchecked, click on this, you will see the preferences now become false, notification become false. Okay, so this is exactly how it works. And in case if you want to go with dark and notification false, so it will work as it is. So overall what we learned in this particular session, we learned how to use ngModelGroup with select and checkbox. Okay, so if there is a requirement in your project, and I'm sure like in projects like there are multiple forms with complex structure which contains fields like drop down and other things. So there, if you want to implement it, you can follow the same structure, same steps to implement it. Clear? That is why like we are discussing it in a separate session, so that you can easily relate with your projects. So I hope this session is clear to all of you. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.